Please, don't mess with Marilla Cuthbert. She is a woman of her word, and she took dear Anne to see Mrs. Spencer. On their way there, Marilla is able to convince Anne to stop daydreaming and give her her backstory. And what a backstory. Turns out, Anne's parents died when she was really young. First her mom, and her dad followed just a few days later. Anne was taken in by Mr. and Mrs. Thomas. And while they were sort of good to her, the main reason why they took her on was so they could have help with their children. Unfortunately, Mr. Thomas passed away, and Mrs. Thomas was going to live with her mother-in-law. The mother-in-law did not want Anne there, so Anne gets shafted off to another family. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Hammond had 8 children. Apparently, the woman had 3 sets of twins, and Anne was running ragged trying to take care of these kids. Then, the man died again. What's up with all these men just up and dying and leaving their wives with multiple kids? We need to come back to that. And now there's no one to take Annie in, and so that's when she went into the orphan asylum. She had been there for a few months when Mrs. Spencer came and spoke to the proprietress and got Anne. Now Marilla is feeling some way about this whole ordeal because it's very apparent that Anne has never been loved or cared for. She's only been used to care for other kids. She has not decided that she's going to keep Anne. They get to Mrs. Spencer's. Marilla comes to find out that the person they had sent the message through, that person had insisted that Marilla and Matthew wanted a girl. Now Marilla is a little bit torn. She asked, can you send Anne back? Mrs. Spencer tells her, oh, we don't have to do that. Mrs. Blewett has a lot of kids and she needs help. She was about to go to the orphanage to get another girl, but if Anne is already here, we can just pass her on to Mrs. Blewett. This Blewett lady shows up. Friends. Apparently, she's a nasty piece of work. Marilla, even though she doesn't keep her nose in everybody's business like Mrs. Lind. Marilla has heard of Mrs. Blewett and just cannot fathom. She cannot stomach the idea of Anne going with Mrs. Blewett. Marilla thinks quickly on her feet and says, hey, you know what? Matthew seems taken in with this little chicas. Let me take her home once more. Matthew and I will discuss, now that we understand the confusion around how she came to be our orphan that we are adopting, and we'll get back to you. If I send her back to you tomorrow, you don't want her. And if she doesn't come back, you know what's up. Of course, Anne is losing her. She comes over and she's so excited. She's like, oh, are you keeping me? Are you keeping me? This is great. And Marilla is like, I said we'll talk about it. But we all know it's a foregone conclusion. Goes home and talks to Matthew, and Matthew is relieved that she came back with Anne. They talk and they decide they're going to keep Anne. Our little sister girl actually has a home now. I have all the feels. Anyway, join us tonight and let's do the next chapter or 2 of Anne of Green Gables.